Taking man to Mars, NASA reveals the technology behind its Orion capsule and the preparation for its first journey. For the first time in a generation, NASA is building a new astronaut-carrying spacecraft. Called Orion, this capsule is designed to take explorers further into space than we've ever gone before. Eventually, journeys to Mars itself are being imagined. The challenge of a journey to Mars must never be underestimated. It is unlike anything the world's space agencies have tried before. It makes the Apollo moon landings of the 1960s and 70s look like child's play. Instead of a few weeks in space, a voyage to the Red Planet and back would take a few years, and this dramatically increases the difficulty. There are no shortcuts home if something goes wrong. Malfunctions will have to be fixed on the fly, and that includes human malfunctions such as injury or illness. Appendicitis en route could be a death sentence. Then there are the psychological stresses of living and working in a confined space, isolated from one's home planet for years. Nevertheless, NASA and other space agencies around the world are positioning themselves to take this leap. The most visible element of this effort is NASA's Orion Capsule and the Space Launch System, SLS, a grand-sounding name for the most powerful rocket ever developed. Orion is currently being bolted together, and later this year, in September, it will be put through its paces in space for the first time. Orion, along with SLS, is the future of human space exploration, says Brandy Dean, NASA's spokesperson for Orion. It's the vehicle we are building to allow us to send humans farther than we've ever been able to go before. Orion is the first step. It is modeled on the Apollo capsules, and the key component that sets it apart is its heat shield. To break from Earth orbit requires more speed than simply getting into orbit. On its return, the craft will re-enter our atmosphere with that extra speed, meaning the shield will have a lot of work to do. The heat tiles of the Space Shuttle will simply not cut it, so NASA has been developing a new, heavy-duty shield for Orion. The first one was shipped to Kennedy Space Center in December 2013, where it's currently being attached to Orion. It is a 5-meter-wide structure consisting of a titanium skeleton and carbon fiber skin that support a honeycomb of 320,000 cells. Each one of these was filled by hand with a special material called Avcoat. This proved to be the most effective of the samples that NASA tested. Avcoat will flake away during the fiery re-entry, carrying away heat energy and slowing down the spacecraft. Each cell has been X-rayed to check it for perfection. The titanium skeleton will then provide the strength to withstand the final splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. The shield will be tried out in this September's test, when Orion will be lofted into space atop a Delta IV heavy-lift rocket and sent on a couple of high elliptical orbits. This will ensure that the capsule hits the atmosphere faster than the Space Shuttle, providing a real test for its shield. Assuming all of that goes well, Orion will be launched for a second time in 2017. This flight will be to the Moon and back, but there will not be a crew on board and no landing will be attempted. We don't generally put people on the first launch of a new rocket, says Mr. Dean. This flight to the Moon will also be significant for other reasons. Namely, it will be the first flight of the Space Launch System. SLS is a game changer, says Kimberly Henry of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, where SLS is being developed. It will be the most powerful rocket ever, with the most capacity that we have ever had to take humans and equipment further into our solar system. Astronauts will get their chance turn to ride the Orion/SLS combination in 2021. This too will be to lunar orbit. After that, destinations are still being debated.